you are bootman. You understand?
Bootman.
Bootman, yes. It's Бэкъярда, биотропика, ультра трейл, bootman.
Привет, биотропика.
Lazarus Lake, он же Гарри Кентрелл, отец-основатель Бэкъярда. Hello for everybody, and I am Nikolai Kotinkov. I am ultra runner, and I am main organizer of Biotropika. It's the biggest backyard in Russia, and maybe in world also, because we in 24th it was 300 person in backyard, and we populate it in Russia, and we have a plan in next year in 25 to do 500 person. It will be the best backyard weekends.
How in the world will you fit 500 people in a starting corral?
Serious? Which is the best backyard do you know? It was in different countries. How much person the most was?
The most I can think of it was, I think, 350 at a race.
Oh, it's serious, but okay.
3 starting corrals side by side, and then it all funneled across a big field. It was several hundred meters, and then it got down to the width of a road, and then it went another kilometer or so before it got down to a...
In Sweden?
In Sweden.
Sweden, okay. I did not hear about this backyard because it was so a lot of person. It's surprise for me. Okay, we not the biggest backyard, but I hope we will do it in 25.
It's a logistical challenge to manage the starting corral.
Yes.
As what they did, they had three of the big arches, and they were side by side. So they really had 3 starting corrals in a row. And then as the number of runners went down, they closed one corral, then they closed the second corral, and everybody combined into the last one.
Yes, I see. I understand that. I know that your main name is Gary Cantrell, but you decide that your nickname Lazarus Lake. Why? Everybody and me interesting about it.
Well, you know how nicknames are. You don't really pick them yourself. You just get stuck with it. It was when email came along, and first I had my work email because that was the only email. And then as you had more and more people with personal emails, there was too much personal email in my work account. So I started my own personal account, and I was a suspicious person and didn't want to put my name on there because email, it just goes out into space. Now everything just goes out into space and people don't think about it as much. But so I just put a name on there. I said, the few people who know me will recognize that name and know who it's from. And if some strange person out there in space captures my email, they won't know where it came from. And then I forgot about it. I hadn't thought about it at all. And then all of a sudden I realized that all these people on the internet thought my name was Lazarus Lake.
The runners in Russia, everybody know who is it, Lazarus Lake, but they don't know about Gary Cantrell. Tell us about yourself.
I'm just an old hillbilly who lives in the woods, and I like to run long distances. I like to organize events. It's some kind of a strange thing, and we did the backyard just because I have about 150 acres. I was trying to think, probably like a square kilometer. It's forests and has trails that I've built, and I wanted to have a race on my farm, but the normal ultras require huge, vast distances, which we just have our little piece of property here. and they're expensive to put on, and we're not rich people, so we've worked up an event we could do that I thought would be fun. We could do it on our farm, and we could afford to put it on because it's not complicated. And then the next thing I know, there's backyard ultras everywhere.
Did you imagine that backyard will be so popular in different countries, in different cultures, and for different people who like run fast, who like run slowly?
Yeah. Well, it's a great equalizer because nobody's ever ahead. There's you're with the other runners all the time. Instead of being strung out and not seeing anybody for days, you can socialize with the other people that enjoy running while you're covering distance. As it turned out, to my surprise, it's an extremely good way to cover a long distance, obviously, because so many people are going so far. And then the part that I thought about when I started that I like the best, it's not the fastest runner that wins, it's the runner who wants to win the most.
Did you prepare this distance, or it just you decide that it will be good and tried to do it?
Well, I looked at the human limitations. You're looking for a distance you could run each time that did not wear you completely out, but not one that would last forever. 4 miles seemed to be the good distance, but then I thought about it, and 4 miles in 24 hours is 96 miles. And it wasn't going to change the nature of the event very much to add just a little extra distance, so it comes out to exactly 100 miles every day.
Mhm.
Because 100 miles in 24 hours, that's a big achievement. Even though most of the world is metric, 100 kilometers in 24 hours is much easier.
Not everybody, of course, can run 1 2 days without recovery, and everybody think and that maybe you are like sadist and you decide that I want to see how it will be heavy for guys. Why you decided to do it?
I didn't decide for the whole world to do it. I just decided to do one in my yard.
Yeah.
Uh,
You started 12 years ago.
that's about right. Yeah, it hasn't been that long. It just, but it seemed like it was doubling every year up until 2020, and then things kind of went haywire for a year.
Uh, did you promote it? Did you do something?
No, um, when other backyards started forming it, they would send me an email and say, I want to put on the same race. Do you care? And no, well, no, I didn't care. I don't own the idea. And then it kept spreading so fast. It's like a different running sport. I mean, it's not like running a distance for time, and it's not like running a time for distance. It's just a different thing. And I thought, here's a brand new sport with no one in charge, and I could organize it the way I always thought a sport should be organized, for the benefit of the athletes and not for the benefit of the organizers. So it seemed like it was awful arrogant to say, well, we'll have a world championship and we'll have teams and qualifying and all these things, because maybe nobody would be interested. But it has worked out, and I'm really happy to see. I feel like this is a sport more than any other. It's organized for the athletes and not to benefit the organizers and not to make a whole bunch of money,
Mhm.
but give athletes a chance to strive and try for something. And because it's like it is, way more people can succeed. We had last year, there were over 2,500 people did a 24-hour 100 in backyards around the world, just the backyards that are registered with us. And in all other races combined, it was about 1,000. So a lot of people are achieving great things. And I feel like that's what a sport should be. I think because the best thing it has is that it's a race in which everyone can win. Even though there's only one winner, each person is also competing with their own limitations, and so many people go further than they ever went before. If someone's never run further than 5 kilometers, in the first lap, they go the furthest they've ever gone. And if you've never run, it's a place to get your first marathon, your first ultra marathon, first 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers, 15 yards, 15 hours seems to be huge around most of the world, which is metric, because in 15 hours they can do 100 kilometers. So I think the appeal is that everyone can feel like they won in their own way.
You open for thousands of people to opportunities. They can do it. I want to say that we have a community here in Russia, and we support everybody. It's really like big family. I sent you. We did a small competition from kids. You know, a lot of people go to Backyard to our weekends with kids. Paint superhero who can run 20, 30, 40 hours and more. It's so important for me that it's not like official sport.
It's a sport for everybody because everyone likes to play. When we were kids, we played in the backyard in our neighborhood or our area. All the kids would come and play. We would play baseball or football. Yeah. Probably in Russia, maybe you played soccer or hockey. Hockey, but it was all the kids, all different ages. Everybody could play. It was fun, and I think the name backyard is that this is the same kind of a sport. Everybody can play.
Let's play in a backyard. It's so interesting idea. I want to ask you about plants. I want to ask you which global growth you think, what you expect the backyard format.
I watched with interest because when it started, I had no idea how far can people go. I thought 24 hours would be amazing, but obviously with now thousands of people doing 24 hours.
Seriously, it's so interesting to hear it from you.
The races got longer and longer. The first time someone did 36 hours, the two runners that got 36 both failed to complete 37. And you thought, well, it'll just get longer and longer. But now, as the championship distances have gotten just crazy, 110 is the world record. I heard a rumor that they might put together a race in Russia and make an attempt with the best Russian runners to try and get that 110, which I hope they do. That would be exciting.
I hope also. We will
but
try.
I thought the races would become impossible to put on because they would last so long. But now it's kind of split. When you get the very best together in a championship level race, the distances are big, but most of the backyards are still 24 to 36, somewhere in there, maybe 40, so that you can have lots of races for people to run. And just the few ones where the people who find I'm really good at this can go and see just how far they can get. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you wanted to see most backyards are still manageable. Normal people can direct them and it won't last a whole week. It's just a day.
Mhm. What do you think about our results in Russia?
I knew the Russian athletes would do well. My background was in ultra marathons going back to the 1970s. And the Russian athletes have always been recognized as being very strong in ultra distance running. So I knew there would be good results from your country. 84 is it's excellent. It's I it's the backyard, because you rely on your competitor in order for you to get far.
Yeah.
Matter of getting the races that have the really strong fields of runners, because when you go that far, just one little thing has to go wrong and you're out. So if you only have one strong runner, well, he can only go as far as the second strongest. If you have three, then you go until something happens to two of them. And when you get 10 or 15 really good runners together, then you know it's going to go on and on and on, because some of them will survive.
Do you remember which kind of interesting result was surprise for you? Do you remember the most interesting, the most surprised?
On the whole, the biggest surprise for me was, and I guess I should have anticipated it, but I didn't think about it. Women win. Women can win a lot. The first Russian was a woman. I should know her name.
Tatiana Maslova, maybe it was.
Tatiana Maslova, that's her.
Yeah. Yeah, she was in our better also. We meet with her every year in our backyard.
And that's I it's always exciting for me to see when a woman beats all the men.
Yes.
Just because, we root for underdogs. And just because the race, you don't have to be fast and you don't have to be strong. You just have to keep going to the starting line. So it's when it gets competitive, it's a test of what's up there.
Mhm. You think that psychology it's more important for results than physical?
It's a very mental game. To take the world championships and took the lap times, and the top 10 finishers, five of them ran the slowest half of the laps, and five of them ran in the fastest half of the laps. And the guy who won was in the slowest half, because the great athletes are good at backyards, because great athletes are great athletes and they're always good. But the people we see stepping to the front in the backyard the most, they're those guys who are mentally so strong. And as a runner, you know who these guys are. They're the one, if you look over your shoulder, oh man, you hate to see that guy behind you, because he's not going to stop. He's going to come after you till the end. So when you start a normal ultra marathon, the fastest runners just run away and there's no way for them to catch up. In a backyard, every hour, everyone is together. And now the fast runners can't run off and leave this guy. He's going to be trouble because he won't give up.
Yes, I want to say that in our competition in last year we had just two guys who had a battle between they it was more than 20 laps without anybody, just two. And I saw that in the start it was a psychology competition. Who was first on the start? Who was more right and smile in the start, and who starts more fast? And it's so important also in this battle. Yes.
See a lot, we call them duels. and it just gets down to two people, and there's all kinds of mind games that go on because you know the person is not going to quit because they can't run anymore. They quit when they no longer believe they can win. So you have to make that other guy think, I feel so good.
Yes, yes, yes. And they
And we
they
all
will
know nobody feels good after 60 hours.
exactly, exactly.
It seems like a lot of times what it comes down to go up and down and up and
Yeah,
down.
true.
And the one guy sees the other one's down or girl, and they put a really fast lap in, and it just breaks their heart. And you think, physically, there's no benefit to running a fast lap. You still both end up at the same place together at the end. But mentally, if you feel like you're on the edge and that person looks so strong, you think, I can't win. And if you just think I can't win for 1 minute, you don't win.
We started to do, and now we did 9 interview specially, and I named it Backyard Academy, Academy of Backyard. And with everybody who run a lot, more than 40, 50, 60, and 80 laps, we write interview, and I ask different question about organization. And now I image different interesting small but very important things, and the result.
So it's amazing to see, because when we started it, nobody had ever done anything like this. So nobody knew how to run it.
Yes.
And now I come along after 12 years and you see there's people, they've come up with all of the tricks, how to train, how to race, how to manage their time in the between laps, which is really important because you have such a short time between laps that you have to take care of everything. And you see there's people advertising they're backyard coaches.
Mhm. How much percent of result depends from support. We decided that in support it have to be, if you want to run more than 80 or 100 maybe kilometers, without support you can't do it.
What really works good, if you come with one person, and then as the race goes along and people drop out, then you have experienced runners join with your crew, so that you can pick up additional support. People become very, very close in the really long races.
Once I said that backyard it's not just a competition of runners, it's a psychology course for crew and for your family, for example. And for me, this backyard it's like festival. Honestly, I say when I saw this format backyard, firstly I decided that it's very so good place to be with my family, because I ultra runners and I run a lot of in forest, in mountains, and my family wait me 10 hours, 15 hours, and they do nothing.
It's perfect for the crews because they stay in one place.
Yes.
They have peace and quiet for 30, 45 minutes. They see their runner every hour. The runner does all the work and keeps coming back to them. I've seen a lot of places where they'll during the backyard, they'll have a smaller race for the kids.
Yes, yes.
People tell me, they say, oh, the backyard is huge in Russia now. The Russians love it. So that's
Yes, maybe it's a culture moment. Maybe it's no, but I see that in different countries it's popular. In different countries, people like to run a lot and feel limit of spirit. Yes, a limit of physical.
yes. And it's there's 85 countries now with backyard races.
85.
The communities vary, but a lot of them are just ordinary people, not affluent people with lots of money to spend, because a backyard can be very simple to put on. And all you need is a wristwatch.
Yeah.
You don't have to have time. You don't even need timing equipment. You just need to know when the hour is up.
What about limits? What do you think? I did interview with our recordsman, Ildar Kamalidinov. He ran 81 hours, and he says that it's so interesting. He says that I did not feel a limit. I think about life uh, in running, and it's so interesting philosophy and psychology.
Harvey Lewis, who set the world record when it was 108 hours, he had gone to 68 or 67 twice, and he could go no further because of sleep. And then he learned one of the things was he would do what people would do. They lay down and they don't fall immediately asleep, and they think, I can't sleep, so they get back up. They sit back up. But if you lay there and close your eyes, if you say, this yard, I'm going to sleep. I've got 8 minutes till I have to get back up. Close your eyes for 8 minutes. Even if you think you don't sleep, it helps. And sometimes you sleep and you drift in and out of sleep and don't know it.
Very
But
good.
apparently you can train your body. As you've noticed, I go to races and ring the bell every hour. I've rung the bell every hour for 108. And you get better at it with practice. I don't know if your brain learns to sleep more efficiently or you just toughen up. People change their idea of what they can do for sleep. And we in the 108-hour run, Harvey was taking 1 minute naps.
From which of lap he start to sleep, and just 1 minute, but how much in this time?
Well, he would sleep more when, ideally you might get 5 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes if you're running well. He started sleeping pretty early in the race. When you get to your normal time that you feel sleepy, he's a teacher. He practiced at school to try to learn how between classes. You have 5 minutes while one set of students leave and another one come in. Can I sleep in that 5 minutes?
Yes, I read about it, about that he is a teacher.
People are crazy.
They run so a lot, yes.
When you want to accomplish something, you just figure out what it takes and then you do that.
Did you run backyard?
Backyard came along long after I could no longer run. I started running almost 60 years ago, and it's for a long time now. All I can do is walk. If I'm crossing the street and a car is coming at me, I can run 2 or 3 steps to keep from being killed.
When you was young,
when I was young, I ran, but there was no backyard. I wish there had been, because I think, I think I would have done good. I don't know. When you see people go 81 and 100, I'm not sure I would have been that good.
Can you imagine if you are young and the backyard, you created a backyard, and how much loops you think you could run?
Oh, well, now that I'm old and can't run anymore, I know for sure when I was younger, I could have done 144.
It's not serious. With sleeping or without sleeping?
It would be suited good for me. I already know I can go without sleep because I rung the bell for 108 hours.
What do you think will be with this format in future? How it will be more popular?
I don't know. It's all The whole thing has been a surprise from the very beginning.
Serious?
When we put on the first backyard in our yard, I said, I hope enough people enjoy this that we can keep doing it. Just one race. So I was hoping that maybe 50 or 60 people a year would run a backyard. And instead it's tens of thousands. So I see no reason it couldn't increase because everybody likes to play in the backyard. I think we all did it when we were kids, and when we all like to be a little bit of a kid again.
Okay. I have a lot of different questions, but I understand that it's enough for first time.
Yeah, it's been an hour already. It went by fast. I enjoy talking to you.
Okay.
And all of the backyard family that's in Russia. If you see me,
Yes.
hello.
Yes, we will production and put it. Everybody will see. Everybody, a lot of thousands people who like ultra backyard ultra, and they will see exactly.
Look forward to the next time.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention, for your time, and for your advices.
All right, thanks for asking me. Goodbye.
Goodbye.